Many reporters ask me, who is the greatest Christian I've ever known? I always answer, Ruth.
Ruth Bell Graham's life was an inspiring journey of faith and love. A writer, a poet, a wife, and a mother, she was a powerful presence in the life of her husband, Billy Graham. Ruth Bell was born in June of 1920 in China, the daughter of medical missionaries. Her father, Dr. Nelson Bell, served there as a surgeon. One of 4 children, Ruth was brought up with a Christian faith that would shape her life.
But not only did Mother and Daddy teach the Christian faith in the home, they lived it. And as a consequence, it was easy as a child to give my heart to the Lord Jesus.
She came to the United States to attend Wheaton College in suburban Chicago, where she met her future husband. He quickly made an indelible impression.
I heard him praying, and I thought, there's a man who knows to whom he is speaking. I remember getting on my knees that night and just saying, Lord, if you let me spend the rest of my life serving you with him, I will consider it the greatest privilege. I didn't know at the time all it would imply I wouldn't have the nerve to pray.
Ruth and Billy Graham were married in 1943 in the North Carolina mountains. The young couple soon returned to Illinois, where Billy became pastor of a small church in the Chicago area. He later served as a traveling evangelist with a new organization called Youth for Christ. In 1949, he began a ministry that would eventually reach millions. Ruth had a profound influence on his message and was an indispensable partner as the Graham ministry grew.
And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night.
By the late 1950s, the Grahams had 5 children and a permanent home on a mountaintop near the North Carolina village of Montreat. Ruth's role as a mother was demanding. She was on her own to raise 3 daughters and 2 sons as her husband traveled around the world with his message of salvation through Jesus Christ. Saying goodbye, often for months at a time, was never easy. Ruth's faith helped her face these trying times.
Looking back in my life, I thank God especially for the tough times. That's when the Bible comes to life for you, and that's when the person of the Lord Jesus becomes the most real to you.
After their children were grown, Ruth often joined her husband on the road, where she frequently shared her faith with others.
God bless each one of you as only He can, and may you too come to know the Lord Jesus Christ.
Ruth's ministry as a writer began to flourish in the 1980s. She would author several books of spiritual insight and poetry. In 1996, Ruth and Billy Graham became only the 3rd couple in U.S. history to receive the Congressional Gold Medal. With 19 grandchildren, dozens of great-grandchildren, and friends and admirers around the world, Ruth Graham's life was filled with blessings. Her warm heart and her gracious spirit were the hallmarks of a ministry that will endure.
I've enjoyed growing old. There's so much to look forward to after this life, and there's so much to look back on. And the thing that stands out in my life above everything else is the promises of God that you have seen come true.